Welcome to my 100th video. I figured for a special occasion I'm going to show you guys a picture of my dad and his book of games. Just something interesting to see. As you can see, this is a relatively thick collection of score sheets. My dad was probably about 75 for this picture, and he looked like some kind of, old northeastern fisherman. But he was an art professor, and you can see, let me zoom in, that is a painting that he did back about, about 1965 ballpark behind him. So he was an art professor that, for whatever reason, fell in love with chess. So just wanted you guys to have a chance to see the picture of the big boss as I tell the stories in the videos. So I decided I was going to name this video King Takes Free Knight. Stick around and find out why. See you in a second. Welcome. Well, let's look at this problem and see what's up. Black to move. Okay. This one's pretty basic when you look at it. And it's like, man, this is not cool. Because black is down a piece but has a pawn. Okay. So right off the bat, here's what jumps out at me. Okay. And whatever jumps out at you, no offense, probably isn't the right thing. And I'm going to tell you why. This is kind of a special type of a problem. Just looking at it right off the bat tells me, it's going to be super hard to win a piece down. Now, I say we're a piece down. We're really not. We're really even with white. And you say, well, that's ridiculous. He's got a knight. We don't have a knight. Yeah, that's true. He has a knight, but we have a king in the theater, which is the queen side. All right. I'm sorry. Are we black? No, it's on the king side. So it's files E, F, G, and H. If you look over here, well, let's do it this way. Black is winning because he's got more material here. This king is way out of play. So that's the optical illusion. We're really even. We're a piece down objectively if he can get it going. Okay, so first things first is we got to figure out how do you win this. And it's just a difficult thing for a lower ranked player to figure out. I'm going to tell you how you figure this out. Well, the only way we can win this, we're not thinking of white making a mistake. If white makes no mistakes, the only way to win this is we're going to have to maximize the use of our one pawn and cash that and make a queen out of it. Okay. All right, that's the way you're going to have to win in the end. Now, in between, until you get to that ending, deep ending, is okay. Now we have two choices here. We either play bishop takes bishop or we play king takes knight. Now, I'd say pause the video for about 60 seconds. Okay, now, hopefully you looked at this for about 60 seconds. Because what happens is bishop takes bishop for black or king takes knight. Which one do you think is easier? Well, I can't hear you, so, it doesn't matter. But just pretend, okay? When you look at this problem, my dad's lesson goes way back, man. This is in the 70s. My dad's lesson in these end games, and my dad was not a great player, but there are certain truths that once spoken are always true. And my dad's my dad's famous line was, "Oh, you have a white square bishop. Well, I'm just going to go in the dark squares." Okay, which highlights the inability of a lone bishop to affect half of the board. Okay, so consequently, it also highlights the fact that a king can never challenge the bishop on the color of the bishop. This is the logical paradigm that my dad drew, not recognizing that it was actually even more important than he was saying in a very straightforward way, but it has far-reaching implications. So what my dad's old rule and observation, it's really as an observation that becomes a rule, is that our king cannot beat the bishop by himself, but he can beat the knight, because the king can attack the knight from 8 positions where the knight can't do anything about it, because of the way it changes colors. So if we leave him, if we play king takes knight, he plays bishop takes bishop, and our pawn will never queen, because as soon as it reaches b7, it'll be chopped off. So we cannot allow bishop to live. So the correct answer is bishop takes bishop. I'm telling you that right now. And this is just a logical analysis. This is not a chess thing. That was based upon my dad's old taunt, really is what it was. We would play those matches like cavemen. No chess clock. We just played chess. Okay? All right, so now we realized the bishop could not be allowed to live, and that was correct, as you saw. Now the thing is, how can we maximize our pawn? Well, this is the thing that I saw also once I decided to get rid of the bishop. Is that look what this pawn can do. Now our king could get run around, big time by this knight, except if you look at it, this king is a mini bishop. And you're probably say, what the heck does that mean? He's not a bishop, he's a king. Well, for those of you who know this, you'll recognize there's a thing called opposition between minor pieces, knight and bishop. If you take a bishop and put a bishop where this king is, the knight cannot go to the square. Here, the other squares don't exist. He'd be, unable to get to this square, which would be F0. All right, dark square would be F0. It doesn't exist. So this is E1, this is E3, this is F4. So the bishop would guard these squares. The knight cannot go to these squares. So the knight is prevented from moving to half of his potential squares by a bishop. So he's a mini bishop. He's guarding E1 and E3. The knight cannot go to those squares. Now, if we put the pawn on the same opposition square, which for the knight and bishop, it's 2 squares in between them. So if we put this pawn here, it's another mini bishop. Look at this. We own this H4 square. We own this F4 and E3 and E1. This knight is completely trapped by a chump pawn and Big Charlie. That's what I call my king. He's Big Charlie. One of my videos, I have it in there. It's in one of my videos, literally when I came up with the name of my king as Big Charlie. Check it out. It's pretty funny. And it's not something I did in the past and brought over here. I was literally doing an analysis and I said, here comes Big Charlie. Well, this is Big Charlie. Big Charlie is holding 2 squares like a bishop would. My pawn is holding 2 squares like a bishop would. So I've got 2 mini bishops holding this jerk. Okay? This is phenomenal. This is a geometry of the chess pieces that allow us to corral this knight. He is in big trouble, baby. So you see what's happening. I got mini bishop here guarding these. The king is holding these. The other 4 squares don't exist. F0, doesn't exist. H0 doesn't exist. You know, this would be what? I1 doesn't exist, and I3 doesn't exist. These are what these coordinates would be called if they existed on the board, but they don't. This would be the I file down over here, and this would be the 0 rank here. So we're just squeezing this guy. There's nothing he can do. So long, chump. King, as my father would say so famously, king takes free night. Okay, my battery died right when I said that my dad would say king takes free night, which it is free, and you know, we win the game here. So the thing is to go back and, you know, look at this. This is not a difficult problem, but it is a difficult problem because the solution of this problem is based upon some sequential knowledge that you need to have at some point. You know, I was lucky to have this taught to me indirectly by my father during any one of our, you know, crazy, you know, chess sessions. You have to remember, this is in the 70s. There's nothing to do. You know, you'd come inside, whatever, you could watch TV or whatever, but sometimes my dad was like, let's play chess. I was like, it's on, okay? And it was really funny because, you know, my dad taught me how to play chess, and I was about 7 years old. Which puts that at like 1969. But I would play him, you know, and he was just better. Of course, he was an adult, college professor, and so he would beat me, you know. But you know, I would get better, and then after a while, I started winning every once in a while. Okay, so and it just started, you know, you just keep going, you keep going. And I would win more and more, you know. Now it's very, very gradual. If you graphed it, it would be a very light slope, increasing, going higher as time passes. Okay, as you go from left to right, from time of 0, when I just learned chess, as time passes, it's a very gentle, increasing line graph. But you know, we played, and it was, you know, pretty good, probably. I mean, it was good after I was maybe 10 years old. You know, it was competitive. I could win, you know, 20% or 25% of the games. By the time I was like almost 14, so I was 13 and change, we were like basically dead even. This is 8th grade. In 8th grade, I was even with my dad in ability in chess. And we didn't study the game. We just played, okay? So there was really no outside intent to get better. It never occurred to us, you know, you just played chess, okay? We just played chess, got better by just repetition, okay? And that's where I learned a lot of these lessons. Like the bishop can only attack his own color. And it's important that the king can never cross the bishop, ever. So that's how I realized that bishop had to take bishop. And that, you know, after I took the bishop and eliminated his bishop, then we have a chance to win. And that's why I looked at it and realized that I had too many bishops to corral the knight. Once I saw that, it was cakewalk. And you could do this yourself. It's just realization and visualizing that you control H4, F4, E3, and E1. His knight had no chance after G5. So you guys know what to do, man. Like my videos. Share them with your friends, but not your enemies, because they'll use my stuff against you. Subscribe so you'll know when you see more gold from me. You guys know what to do. I'll talk to you later.